You're listening to The Intellectual Investor, episode number 13, The True Value of Macro Forecasting. Written by Vitaliy and read by Elliot. To read this article online, or to listen to more episodes, visit investor.fm. To learn more about Vitaliy's investing firm, IMA, go to imausa.com. The True Value of Macro Forecasting. While in Omaha for the Berkshire Hathaway annual meeting a couple of weeks ago, I participated in an investment panel hosted by a local chapter of the Young Presidents Organization. I had the privilege of sharing the stage with such industry giants as Tom Russo, a partner of Gardner, Russo & Gardner, famous for knowing more about their consumer stocks than the management that runs them, and Tom Gaynor, president and CIO of Marco Corp, a specialty insurance company that on many levels resembles the Berkshire of 30 years ago. We were asked how much time a value investor should spend on macro forecasting. Usually, macro forecasting is frowned upon in the value investing community, and Berkshire CEO Warren Buffett has everything to do with that. He is famous for saying, and I'm paraphrasing here, "My decision-making would not change even if I knew what the Federal Reserve will do with interest rates next month." There is sound logic behind this. Forecasting the economy is incredibly difficult in the short run. The economy is not unlike a black box, with hundreds of gauges on it that, in the near term, give you conflicting readings about what's inside. For this reason, macro forecasting was disapproved by value investors. And for 20 years, this attitude paid off. The economic climate was favorable, the stock market was in overdrive, price-earnings ratios were expanding. Macro did not matter. Until the housing bubble and financial crisis. Value investors who had their head in the sand got annihilated. Things in life often swing pendulum-like, from one extreme to another. Right after the crisis, every investor is a macro expert. It's kind of hilarious. Investors who just a few years earlier didn't even know the names of most economic indicators are now spitting them out in conversations as though they had absorbed them with their mother's milk. So what should investors do? Become macro experts or economic ignoramuses? Believe it or not, there is a logical and, more importantly, a practical answer to this question. As an investor, you want to spend very little time on forecasting the weather. That is, what the Fed will do with interest rates next month, or the rate of growth of the economy. Weather forecasting, first of all, is not always accurate, but it will certainly consume a lot of time and energy. And the forecasts have a very finite shelf life. Yesterday's weather is irrelevant today. As long as you own companies that can survive rain without catching pneumonia, even a few weeks of rain, weather forecasting is a waste of time. This is what Buffett was implying by saying he didn't want to be a macro forecaster. However, instead of being a weatherman or weatherwoman, as an investor, you want to pay serious attention to climate change. That is, significant shifts in the global economy that can impact your portfolio. This is exactly what Buffett did over the past few decades. He was warning about the weak dollar because of trade deficit imbalances. He even put on a trade that bet against the dollar. He also warned about derivatives, that is, weapons of mass destruction, and he tried to cleanse them from the portfolio of General Re, an insurance company Berkshire acquired, as fast as he could. Though he did underestimate the housing bubble, he was acutely aware of it. Alice Schroeder, author of The Snowball, Warren Buffett and the Business of Life, recently answered questions on Reddit about Buffett. It's a must-read. This excerpt on housing caught my eye. Quote, "I bought a house in 2004, and when I told him, he was aghast. That's when I knew we were in a serious housing bubble. Finally, he said, 'Well, don't worry. You'll be able to sell it in 10 years, so just hold on to 2014. End quote. There is a significant difference between being a meteorologist and a climatologist. But unfortunately, in investing, both activities fall under the rubric of macro analysis, and little distinction is made between the two. Thank you for listening. This and other investment articles by Vitaliy Katzenelson are based on value investing principles that were first brought down from the mountain by Benjamin Graham and later were popularized by Warren Buffett. To learn more about these principles, visit investor.fm and listen to the first episode of this podcast, titled The 6 Commandments of Value Investing. To learn more about how Vitaliy's investment firm uses these principles to create low-risk, long-term oriented portfolios, visit imausa.com. Enjoy life and prosper.